Here we are. Here we are. February 14th. We made it, even though, according to the psychic in Ghostbusters 2, today was going to be the day that was the end of the world. But thankfully, it hasn't happened yet. We are still here. And you know what that means? It's a little after 3 on a Friday afternoon. And that means it is time for yet another Staffing Mania Live with Rick the Shark Rosner and myself, Amy Yag. Rick, how's it going?
Good. Love Potion number 9 is in the house.
Number
Remember that? Is a great song, by the way.
I was also thinking of L is for the way you look at me, except I don't know what E stands for.
Keep singing that, and then they're going to block us from YouTube, by the way. You know.
That's true. Only get 3 seconds.
Well, you know what? If they do block us, that means you sang pretty good, right? They identified it. There you go.
Well,
American Idol, here you come.
Hopefully I don't get the hook from the side of the stage. Well, we are here. We are so excited to be here today. Thank you to all of you for hopping on, joining in. Please participate. We always love comments and feedback, but we are here to talk about something that I think is near and dear to both of our hearts, and that is the idea of love. Yeah, this side. No, yes, there we go.
Woo!
Not this, but this.
Well, what's this mean? Duh.
Not the L on the forehead for loser, but the L on the heart.
I thought the L on the head meant LinkedIn. If you're only on that platform. Sorry.
LinkedIn would like it to be LinkedIn. Yes. So we are here to talk about love, and specifically love in the workplace and the business languages of love. So Rick, you were very excited a couple days ago when you texted me about this and wanting to talk about it. So what spurred this love affair with love in the workplace?
Oh yeah. Well, I love every day. I love everything. Like that voice, by the way. All joking aside, but no, I just St. Patty. I mean, it's St. Patty's Day. No, we're not even there yet. It's Valentine's Day, and I figured something with a little bit of love. I mean, I love everybody just like you do, and it's like to bring some of that language across, how we like get clients and candidates. I mean, it's all about the love in the beginning. People think it's about selling and your approach, but your love language is for everything in life. That's for your partner. That's for business and everything. So. I don't know how you want to elaborate into this, but we can even jump into the voice. You want to talk about the voice first while we're at it?
Well, let's first talk. So I think this is a great. I think it's a great topic because I'll like Cupid and his arrow. I think that many of us in the staffing industry need a little shot in the ass and need to recognize that what we're doing is beyond just transactions and headcount. You really nailed it. That this really, not to get smooshy here a little bit, but this really should be a people first, human heart driven business, because you are putting a lot of your time, energy, effort, hours into trying to grow your book of business, trying to grow your candidate list, trying to grow the amount of opportunities that you're creating for people in the workforce. And sometimes we can lose sight of that, and it can be a little bit too transactional, both with how we are interacting with one another, with our peers, within our staffing firm, within our organization, but also with the clients that we serve, whether those clients are companies and industries, or if they're individuals and job seekers. So I think that's why we wanted to talk about this, because sometimes we can get in goal mode and lose sight of the real heart of what we're trying to do here.
I love what you said there. Can I say love? How many times am I going to say love today? I get $1 for every time I say
we should have got a drinking game or something.
The love recruiter. That's what I am. The love recruiter today.
Oh, the love lifeguard.
Ooh, you like the love lifeguard. But you're so right. And you know what? Something else just popped in my head here is even like your emails, you got to have love language in,
Yeah.
Don't be abrasive with that stuff. I think real quick off, Amy, is people can identify that praising, that love and everything you do. And I think you have to love what you do. I posted something on LinkedIn. If you guys get out there, make sure you like it today. Wink, wink. But it's about how you love your work.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my work every day. And I think that starts with it before you even start the love language. You have to love what you do.
I think that that's really key. I hadn't really thought about that, but it does start first and foremost with what type of what type of relationship do you have with the work that you're doing? Is it one that's a little bit toxic? Is there some gap
Ooh.
between you and the work that you're doing, not with other people, but the way that you're interacting with your work? I think that that really is key because that does set the foundational stage for then how you are showing up and serving and collaborating and supporting other people who collectively are all trying to, make this crazy staffing thing work. So I think that's a really profound piece, Rick. Is so what do you do? Do you have a practice that you do every day when you wake up to kind of get you in that love state of
Oh
mind?
yeah. All right. So first off is get up, you brush your teeth, you look in the mirror and say, I love myself so you can love everybody else. I swear I do this every day. And I look out like Bob Marley says, the three little birds, the sun's up, make my pour over coffee, and I am set for the day. I swear I don't have a bad bone in my body. And I tell people all the time, that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years is loving myself first. And I can love everybody else. There's no jealousy or
Mm-hmm.
nothing. So my body
Mm-hmm.
language is already, even when people see me, I don't have to say a word and they can sense that I love them. Is that
Yeah.
wild? Or I'm going to talk to them.
It's not, but I think it's important to point out that it's an intention. It's actually a practice that you do. You're not waiting for love to come to you. You're actually setting the stage to put it out there to then receive it. And I think that's a really important piece when we think about love and especially appreciation. Whether you want to call it love or you want to call it appreciation, you give it whatever word you want, but it starts by giving as opposed to getting. And I think that's really important. So you have an intention that you wake up every day. You say you have your ritual of how am I going to show up today? How do I feel? Like how am I going to be awesome today? Right? How
Mm-hmm.
am I going to serve and show love? And I think that that's really important. And for some people, I'm definitely one that I am slow to get out of bed in the morning.
Ooh.
It's sometimes a little bit of a struggle, and I'm like, time to make the donuts. It's like that's sometimes the kind of mindset. But if you can flip that and say, what am I seeking today? And even if that what am I seeking or what am I striving for today is I just I want to be kind to my coworker. I want to make sure that my child feels seen or recognized. Even if it starts with something like that, I think that that can set a really strong foundation for how you then show up for the rest of your day.
You hit it. And something else I got to tell everybody, I make my bed. You have to make your bed. I'm telling you, if you
You
make
do?
your
Do
bed,
I?
yes, I make my bed. My book's out there because my office is right there. And it's like, man, it's so smooth. But I think, Amy, what you hit on the head is it's about making an impact every day. If
Yeah.
I can make somebody smile at the gym or wherever I'm at, when I go to bed at night, the end is fulfillment. That is
Mhm.
what love's all about. If you can make just people smile, that's a part of love. And when you do this over and over every day, it's like it's magical. Seriously, it
Yeah.
is.
Well, and how you practice love, I think doesn't have to be these grand gestures. Like you said, something as simple as making your pour over coffee every morning. That's a moment
Ooh.
of gratitude, taking in that smell and just appreciating what went into making that cup of
Mm.
coffee. I think even that can be a moment that's like, well, this is nice, as opposed to, now I have to make coffee because I'm so tired because I didn't sleep well and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you can actually make it a real strong ritual. Actually, Sierra talks about that a lot on the Painted Porch. She has on YouTube, she even has a whole video about having a gratitude practice around making a cup of coffee every day. And
Oh,
just,
coffee.
yeah.
The smell of coffee. I get up and I jump around. If I have sweatpants on or boxer shorts, I'm like, that smell. I don't know what
Mhm.
everybody, if you love coffee and you smell that, you all go, seriously, it takes us in a different world.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about, love languages and specifically business love languages because there's probably a lot of us have heard, we're familiar with the 5 love languages, Gary Chapman. He came out with it quite a long time ago as a way to help ultimately so that way we understand how we can give and how we want to receive love usually in our romantic or familial relationships. But the same principles, those same components are true in business. It's just they have a slightly different twist, right? It's the same 5 core love languages, which Rick, what are the ones that we talked about? What are the 5 love languages?
Oh, well, I'm going to throw one out there, receiving gifts. I mean, that's a
Yes.
big one. I mean, gifts,
Yep.
quality time,
Yep.
physical touch,
Yep.
affirmation. Throw me another
Yep.
one. What's the other
And
one?
then my acts of service, that's my favorite. So when we think about these 5 love languages, words of appreciation or affirmation, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and physical touch, these 5 languages are ones that you can practice both in your personal life as well as in your professional life. They take on, like I said, a slightly different look, but the core fundamentals are still the same. I think the most important piece, though, and this was something that I didn't really realize until I read these works, because in Sierra's Radical Mindfulness program, she has a whole module that's all about the 5 languages of appreciation at work. So that way you're showing up and giving love or appreciation in the way that your colleagues need, and you're receiving it in kind. But one thing that was really interesting that I hadn't really realized before is that by default, we tend to give love the way we want to receive love. But the truth is that different people have different ways that they want to receive love. And so when we give it the way we want to receive it, and they don't receive it in the way that we would expect, that's when we can have resentment start to creep in, or that's when we think that they're not being appreciative of this thing that I'm doing. So I think it's really important, especially from a business context, to first and foremost understand what the people that you're serving, your teammates, your clients, your candidates, understand what they value, what their type of appreciation is, because then you're going to find that way to really create that reciprocal love cycle that you're trying to build, this like virtuous cycle of love and appreciation, both within your office and out into the world.
I love it. Okay. By the way, we're just not doing this for business. This is like relationship building too, right?
Yeah.
For your personal life. So yeah, peeps, get out there. Your other half tonight, what we're talking about right now is going to enhance everything in your love life.
Yeah. And sometimes, and yeah, they have assessments and things that you can do. But the truth is that deep down, if you just sat with a few minutes and said, you know what are the things that matter most to me, that make me feel the most seen, heard, appreciated, loved? What are the things, or what are the gestures, or what are the actions that tend to resonate with me the most, that, as Sierra would say, that make me the most sparky? And then that can help you really home in on what your love language might be. But when you're sitting down with your significant other, with your family, or with your colleague or your coworker, you can also just ask, be like, hey, what are the things that you like? Because one thing that we can often get wrong in business is that we treat all appreciation the same, right? We think a pizza party or it is what everyone wants, or having an award ceremony and calling someone up to the front and saying, here, you get the Employee of the Month award. For some people, that is like the absolute worst thing you could do. And so I think as leaders, it's really important to understand and like literally write down, in their file somewhere, here's how they like to be appreciated. So that way you're not alienating them in your attempts to show appreciation.
I love what you said there, because these awards things, you go up there and these people are they're like bashful, and they have to get up in front of everybody and talk and all this stuff and put people on the spot. And they think that's praising. Okay, so here it is, Amy. I'm going to give it to you straight from the Shark's heart. You have to actually, that's pretty good, Shark's heart. Love day. But all joking aside is you have to adapt to every situation different. Every person is different, just like candidates and clients. I never treat a candidate the same way. Everybody's different. Just like I treat you different than I treat somebody else on another podcast. It's totally up. You got to feel their vibe. It's almost like Mojo. Get that positive vibe. It's, it might take a couple of times, but see how you have that chemistry, that communication. That's part of this love language, is that communication. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, but you can mingle this in. I think something else is that we can start talking about is the positivity stuff. We have to praise people more and more and more. People love it. Just us saying a good job. Go into detail about why they did that. What made you feel important about it while you're telling them that. Just don't praise somebody for the hell of it and just say, hey, that's a good job. Then you didn't mean nothing of it. Have that passion and composure when you do it.
Right. Well, that's actually, you bring up a great point that details and context are actually really important for praise in general. That's probably a whole separate conversation we could have about it, but it does. They talk about this even with children. You know, there's this book Carol Dweck she wrote called Mindset, and it's all about how people develop a growth mindset. And praise is a big piece of it. And being specific with your praise, because if you just say good job, or hey, way to kill it, or whatever it might be, or just even simply thank you. Sometimes simply thank you is all you need. But without the context, without the understanding of what you're recognizing them for, it people don't know then what they need to do again to replicate it. And so then that contributes to a fixed mindset because they're afraid to make any changes to what they're doing or how they're doing it because they don't understand what things are actually being appreciated and recognized versus not. You have to get specific with it, or else people constrict with their flexibility and their capabilities to grow. So I think that's a really great point.
I love what you said there. And don't stand over people in the office. I hate that. When a supervisor's over top of you trying to praise you, I hate to say it, but you're thinking they're looking at your stuff like you're doing something bad, you know? I always say when you praise somebody, give them a fist pump. I do a dance and go, hell yeah. You know, that's my expression to them, you know, and then you can go into detail a bit more, but show some gratitude, I mean, to them, what they do. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, Amy, is, you know, just not praising people through an email. You know, call them on the phone. I mean, use that voice tone, use that gesture.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. And also make sure that it's the way that they want to receive it. If pulling them up in front of a group is like their 7th level of hell, then gosh, don't do that. You know, really find out how they want to receive it. Same thing with even praise. Some people don't love praise verbally, right? That's why words of affirmation or appreciation is one of the 5 languages. For other people, it's quality time. So if you have a person on your team who their love language, their appreciation language is quality time, they don't want to be pulled up in front of the group and given a high five or told how awesome they are because they're probably going to turn beet red and shrink and want to hide in the corner. Instead, probably what they would love is to have a one-on-one with you, to sit down and talk about what they're doing, how they're growing, where they can improve. Having that quality time is really what's most important.
But the quality time has to be coaching. You have to coach them. Don't just explain stuff to them. And I think this is something, especially in our industry, people just say, these are the 3 things you need to do, and that's it, and walk out the door. No. To be a leader, you have to communicate, but you have to always show them in actions. Take them under your wing. That's what it's all about, peeps. I mean, seriously, that's where you start loving people. That's where people will never leave you. If I could tell you anything about stuff, people don't leave me most of the time because they think I'm nuts. But besides that, I care for them. I really care for them. Like I hug them, I hold them, you know, in their down stage, but also in their high stage. So I think keep it consistent at both levels. Just don't praise them when everything's going good. You can praise them when things are going bad and encourage them how we can get better together.
Yes. Yes.
Woo! I am pumped today, Amy.
That was solid. Now you mentioned something at the beginning of the call too, that I think is also important. So there's the different languages of appreciation and love that you can show, the 5 words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and physical touch. There's those 5, but there's also the way that you are showing up to give that appreciation is equally, if not more important. And some of it is the language, like the literal language that you use, right? Or the tone, how you're presenting it. So talk about that more, because that was something you brought up too.
Well, I think the tone is one of them things. I mean, seriously, when I'm on the phone, if somebody's having a bad day, then I'm doing that Dr. Phil. Oh, can I talk more? And that's not me faking. That's just me because I am concerned. I'm curious of how I can get you a job. I'm curious about your life. That's the first thing is, though, if you're curious about people, this is how you get engaged with people for views and everything. Be curious. They'll tell you their story. We're in 25. I give anybody a tip. It's all about stories. Everybody has a story. So listen to that. And I think your tone of voice. And then when something does good, the excitement comes. Hey, that's awesome. Bring that expression out on your phone call. You know, Rob's one of the best at it. He knows. Be almost like you're on the radio. I always say every time you pick up the phone, it's like showtime. I'm going to say it again, give Kenny Chesney a plug. It's like, dude, I'm on the stage. It's not about me. It's about them. Whoever's on
Yeah.
the other line, they're more important than me. All I'm doing is
Mhm.
listening, listen, learn, and lead. 3 L's for 25. If you can do them 3, god dang, this stuff's easy.
Whoo, I'm gonna write that one down. Listen, learn, and
Learn.
lead. I love
Boom.
it. I think if you can do that, those are gonna set you up for such great success. But you're right. It's 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 a little bit of mindfulness. It's a little bit of emotional intelligence. It's
Mhm.
a little bit of understanding the unique gifts and talents and needs of each of your team. And it's understanding the importance of your language, both the words, the tone, and also not talking as well. Like, listen, right? That's the biggest one.
Yes.
Listen first. I think those are all such key things that as leaders, they sound simple and they're not complicated. It just takes time, intention, maybe a little bit of guidance and coaching and training to help get those pieces right. But if you can just start to make those very simple practices, first and foremost, just starting by asking, how would you like me to recognize you? Not recognize you like see you as a person, but how would you like to be recognized when things are going well? How would you like me to come to you when, there's opportunities maybe for adjustment or growth? And
Mhm.
most often people will tell you, they'll tell you how they want it. Or if you can't get that out of them, be like, hey, would you like to receive an award? Oh, God, no, that's the worst. I don't want that. I hate awards, right? Oh, well, would you like to would you like me to call you out in a meeting and, give you a shout out? Oh, gosh, no, I don't, that's not important to me. Okay, well, through those conversations, through asking those questions, you can really find out what people want as far as how you can show love to them and how you can receive love as well.
You said it all the time, and I think the biggest thing is people appreciate that too, Amy. They
Yeah.
really appreciate that, and they can tell. And here's something else. A little tip is so many people that I coach right off the bat when they get on a phone call, they just start with their self. Me, me, me. Hey, do you need, especially salespeople? If I can tell anybody in sales, stop it. Go in and say, I got bodies for you. First, we're not a pimp, so stop the shit with the pimps. I always joke about that, but they lead in with, well, hey, we're from this ABC staffing firm. We can do this. You didn't even personal physics. What the hell? I'm the maintenance person. I'm the janitor. What the hell are you talking to me for? I mean,
Mhm.
that's where we need to have to sit back and just have that conversation. Even Amy, when you're at a networking event, where we go to like some of the events like staffing, where them, you don't know anybody in the beginning. Just shake their hand and go and say, "Hey, my name's Shark. I do." No, just shake their hand and say, "Hey, what's going on?" That
Yeah.
simple, relaxed conversation is what we need to get back to, and that is part of the love language. Let
Yeah.
them, you got to go back and forth. It's not all about you and the love. It's love is together.
Yes. Well, to get love, you give love, right? I mean, that's
Mhm.
that's the truth
That's
of
why
it.
people are
And
married forever, right? Well, some are.
some are. And some stay married and don't have love, but that's another matter. But yes, the ones that are doing well do recognize that it's not giving love the way you want to receive it. It's recognizing what the other needs and then intentionally showing up and giving them the love and showing appreciation in the way that they appreciate it. And so it doesn't fall flat.
No, and you could do love on LinkedIn. All your comments could be love. I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
everything I do, I praise people. Throw them emojis out there, them smiley faces and stuff. People love that stuff, but make sure it's from the heart. That's the
Yeah.
thing is though, just don't do it to say, well, I want to do it so they respond back to me. I always say every time I make a comment, I don't expect anything in return. And when
Mhm.
you do that, God, life's going to be so much good for you. But I think people say, well, I comment on their too, and they didn't comment on mine. I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
That's not the way the real world works, and it's not the way the business world works. The more you give, the more you'll get in the end. Trust
Yeah.
me,
Don't
peeps, it
yeah, don't
works.
keep score. Don't keep score. Give more than
No.
get. Yeah. All right, Rick, any other final thoughts on creating business love language within organizations? Like what could a recruiter, what can a account manager, or what can a leader do to help create this environment where, maybe it's not kumbaya, we're all like sitting in a circle saying, I see you, I appreciate you, but finding small ways to just build this love culture, this appreciation culture within a company.
I think the big thing is believe in each other. You got to start with that appreciation stuff, and that starts from day one when you meet that person. If you're a
Yeah.
leader, you got to appreciate them. Just it's not taking them out for a lunch. That's great, but it goes deeper than that. It's a consistent basis. We always say this: if you want to be on social media, you got to be consistent. You have to be consistent in your love language too, over and over and over again. You know, you can't fall off.
Yeah, you know what? And that's really key. And I think, you know what? Something just came to mind that I hadn't thought about before, but I would say that love languages are the one thing that you cannot automate away. I think that
Mhm.
in order for you to show appreciation or love, whatever you want to call it, to show appreciation in love, it can't be something that is done by a technology, right? It has to be done by a person. And so, you know, every conference we go to, we've heard that the last few years that with the proliferation of new technologies and AI, that the relationships within staffing are changing and that it's focusing more on the relationships. If you really mean that, if you really mean that you are focusing on relationships and not still bodies and transactions, then you need to take a little bit of time, effort, and attention to learn some of these techniques and these skills to be able to actually have a human to human relationship that you may not have really given much attention to or credence before.
You summed it up, but real quick, it starts with you. We cannot do anything else besides you. Tony Robbins says it's the best. There we go. It starts with you, peeps.
I
If you
got
could
lots
start
of
with
Tony
you,
Robbins hearts here from all of the things I've done for
I
Mr.
love it.
Tony
Look at that.
Robbins.
But no, all joking aside, Amy, you know that. It starts with you. Before you can go and, share the love language, look at this.
Mhm.
How many events have you been with Tony Robbins? How many?
Oh, son. We could
What are you
talk.
up to,
That's
like
a whole separate
$30,000?
conversation.
Okay, so Amy,
I could have a house on top of my house for what
did
I've
you do the
been
coal
doing.
walking yet? Did you walk on the coals yet or no?
I did. I have been a fire
Woo!
walker. It was amazing. I've broken boards with my hands. I've done lots of things. Yes.
Where's these pictures at? We need to see this on LinkedIn. Can you put these out there? Come on.
I don't know if I have any. I'll have to see. I'll have to check with
Come on,
Rob.
Cobra Kai. Bam. Breaking boards and shit.
Yeah, so I have lots of love to give, all thanks to Mr. Tony Robbins. All right. Well, Rick, any final thoughts when we think about how to develop business love and have the love languages within your organization?
I think the big thing, we covered everything pretty much, the physical part at the end. Remember, handshakes, fist pumps. If you see me out there, make sure you're going to get a hug from me, tap on the back, something like that. I think that's where it starts at. But once again, it starts with you.
Yeah.
Start showing some love for yourself and then push that over into your business, your relationship, I think hand in hand, and watch yourself grow. I mean, just like a flower, plant that love seed today and watch it grow by June.
Yeah.
I'm out of here on that.
All right. I love it. And I would say if you want a little bit of help or guidance with that, if you go to paintedporchstrategies.com and you click on Radical Mindfulness, Sierra has a whole program that is all dedicated to how you can develop the mindfulness, the emotional intelligence, and start to understand how to give and receive appreciation for yourself and for those that are in your life, in your work, and anywhere in between. Because once we do that, we all show up a little bit better, a little bit stronger, a little bit more confident, and a little bit more loving, I think, in what we do every day.
I love it. Here's a little bit of love for you. All right, peeps. We'll see you next week. Later.